You read the title, you already know what this video is about. Types of guys in high school. Starting off, we have the NPC. This guy does not exist outside of school. He straight up unrenders when he leaves the school campus. You see these guys walk around the hallway, but if you had a gun to your head and were asked what any of their names are, you'd just die. And it's not your fault, don't feel bad, okay? These NPCs do not talk to people, they don't even wave to you if you wave at them. They're not part of any after-school programs or extracurricular activities. They sit by themselves at lunch. They just literally don't do anything. Next up, we have the class clown. Now, these guys carry school. School without the class clowns would be absolutely atrocious. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, they're disruptive. They cause problems. Bro, they're hilarious, and we need them. Back in my freshman year of high school, I had a science class that I was taking with this one kid who genuinely did not care whether or not he passed. So if you looked at his computer, he was never taking notes. He was usually playing Minecraft or Google Snake. At the end of the semester, our final project was a presentation, and when it got to this guy's turn to get up there and give his presentation in front of the class, he gets up out of his chair and pretends to trip and fall on the ground, but to sell it, this kid lets out the most blood-curdling scream I've ever heard. Let me just reenact it for you. Okay, Brian, it's your turn to present. Okay. It was so obviously fake, but I was laughing my ass off. I had to like put my shirt over my nose and try to hide my laughter. And our teacher was an old lady, so you have to imagine like falling down is one of her greatest fears, because if she falls down, right, you know, she's gonna see one of those Jesus edits. So when she sees someone fall, she thinks about death, right? So she sees this kid fall, and she hears this loud ass scream, and she's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Someone help him! Get him to the nurse!" And I obviously offer to help him, and I get that boy to the nurse, and I have no idea if he passed or he failed or something. I'm pretty sure he got the option to just do the assignment as a video instead of a presentation, and he submitted the video, and I think he passed because I did see him in my sophomore year, so, I mean, good for him. I'm gonna be honest, this guy was more of a lol cow than the class clown. Like, he wasn't thinking of funny things to say and getting laughs. He was more like being an idiot and everyone was laughing at him, but I think he was aware of the fact that he wasn't the model student, which made it funnier, so he was in on the joke. There was another time earlier in the semester because the science class started at 8 a.m. and there was one time he showed up at 8:30 and the teacher's in the middle of giving a lecture and he busts in the door and he's like, "I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, what have I done?" And she's like, "No, just please go sit down." He's like, "No, please forgive me. I know what I did is wrong, but please, I'm trying." The most crocodile tears I've ever seen. Anyway, that guy was just so funny. Next up, we have the savages, the guys who don't care about their future, their grades, their attendance, their social reputation. These guys will do anything for money, they'll do anything for a dare, and they'll do anything if they think it's funny enough. Now, these guys might seem scary, and honestly, they usually are, but if they're able to channel that amount of just not caring into something good, they can actually be very cool and useful people. They can be great friends. Like, if you're scared to ask out a girl or something like that, this guy will literally just go up to the girl, ask her out, get her number, and then just give it to you. Like, it's literally that easy. He just does not care. These guys have balls of titanium alloy. One time 4 years ago, there was a kid who got offered $20 to just take a shit on the floor in the bathroom, and the quickest $20 he's ever made. These guys account for 90% of the total amount of kids who get suspended. It's always somebody like this. And the sad part is usually after all the school dares have been done, they eventually turn to doing more extreme things to get their adrenaline, like drugs, like very dangerous stunts, like, you know, it's just stuff you probably don't want to be involved in. But I honestly wish all the kids who are like this the best. As long as you're not being a total dickhead, I'm sure you'll be fine. Next up, we have the stoners, guys who come to school faded and they spend the entire day getting more faded and they're just constantly high. Obviously, there's worse things to be addicted to than weed, but I do feel like a lot of guys who smoke weed in high school never really get too far in life. And this was proven to me when I was hanging out with my friend and he brought his friend along and his friend was smoking. We're in my friend's car and we stop to get gas and we go inside one of those mini marts. Now, I grab a water and I come back to the car. My friend finishes up filling his tank and we're just sitting there waiting for his friend to come back. And about 5 minutes pass, we're getting a little concerned, so me and him, we walk back inside the mini mart, and this guy is staring at this rack of chips. We see him pick up a bag of salt and vinegar chips, put it down, pick up the barbecue chips, put it down, pick up the salt and vinegar one again, and he literally would repeat this cycle for like 20 seconds. This guy spent 6 fucking minutes deciding whether or not he wanted salt and vinegar or barbecue chips. And from that moment forward, I knew, like, okay, I'm gonna be staying away from that. I'm alright. Like, you have to imagine if this is how much time and mental brain power it was taking him to decide what flavor chips he wanted. Imagine this guy answering a multiple choice question on like a history history test, he would literally die on the spot. Next up, we got the nerds. Now, nerds, I'm gonna be honest, they are not all built the same. You got nerds that ruin the fun for everyone else and nerds that bring the fun, right? You have some nerds that'll kick your ass at Super Smash Bros because they've memorized the combos, and then you have other nerds that say things like, actually, and will tell the teacher on you if you're not studying or something like that. Because being a nerd itself isn't a bad thing. I mean, it really just means that you're smart or like really intelligent beyond an average person. But what makes or breaks the likability of a nerd really just depends on what he uses his knowledge for. Like, if you're really smart and you know you're really smart, does that give you an ego and make you think that you're better than others and therefore make you talk down to others? Or does your awareness of your own intelligence lead you to help others who are less smart than you? And, you know, maybe you become a tutor, maybe you become that guy that makes the Quizlets for the class that everybody likes. I mean, hey, there's a lot of things that you can do with this knowledge. Knowledge is power, but power can create evil people. Don't let that happen to you, nerds. Next up, we have the quote-unquote alpha male. Now, every single school had one of these guys. One guy who just thinks he's the shit. One guy who thinks he's tougher, cooler than everybody else. Our version of this guy in high school was very strange. He had this weird thing where if you were talking to him, he would never look at you, but the moment that you looked away and he started talking, he'd stare at you. It was so weird. Now, these quote-unquote alpha males come in varying levels of sincerity. Some of them are actually fairly alpha in the way they behave. They go to the gym, they're on their grind. Currently has 4 different girlfriends, shows up to school wearing sunglasses. I mean, fair, that guy's an alpha, straight up. But I would say there's a lot more guys that try to roleplay as being an alpha than are actually alpha. These are the guys that are constantly trying to prove that they're alpha. Like, they post 3 to 5 shirtless pictures on their Snapchat story every day. They swear up and down to their boys that they get girls, but there's just no proof of it whatsoever. They be like sophomores in high school trying to claim they have like 20 bodies or something, and it's like, you got like a Snapchat or any proof at all that these women exist, and they just kind of freeze up and they're like, nah, let's just move on. Or they'll be like, bro, why you meat watching? Like, I'm not meat watching, bro, you brought it up. Also, I don't know who said this was cool, but if you have a high body count as a guy, that's really not that cool. If you're in high school, the most bodies you should have is like 2 or 3. If you're pushing 10, you gotta reconsider, bro. Like, you gotta just adjust yourself. How about you crack open that Bible that's been collecting dust in your room? I think the thing that separates real alphas from fake alpha males is whether or not they insult their best friends the moment a girl comes around. These fake alphas literally throw their friends under the bus the moment their crush comes around to make themselves seem cool. You are a pathetic snake, and the boys will have a meeting discussing your punishment. Alright, next up, and this one I'm sure you all saw coming, was the school athlete slash jock. I hate that word so much, jock. It's just such a 2004 word. If you were in high school in 2004, you were allowed to call someone a jock, but in 2023, just please stop. I don't know if I have much to say about the school athletes that you can't already presume. Low grades, low intelligence, high athletic ability, decent success with the ladies. They talk like they're always in the boys' locker room. Their favorite artists are Travis Scott and Drake, and their favorite song is gonna be whatever is the biggest song of the month. So there you go. Now you know how these people are. I feel like school athletes get a bad rep. I feel like a lot of people think they're assholes or something like that, but I don't know. I get the stereotype, and I can see why maybe some of them are, but overall, I mean, hey, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a group by its stereotype. I don't know. Alright, last but not least, we have the hustler. This guy will call himself an entrepreneur, but all he does is buy fake sneakers and sell them on Snapchat. Or he'll buy real ones and try to sell them to somebody for $100 more than he bought them. It's hard to nail down exactly what these guys do because they all do something different depending on your school, but sometimes it's shoes, like I said. Sometimes it's weird services, like we had a guy that would charge you 20 bucks to jailbreak your phone and give you like free Spotify, free Apple Music, free YouTube Premium. Or maybe your school's less creative and you got some guy doing a classic hustle like selling drugs. But these guys can be fun to hang with. I met one guy back in 2020 who would spend about an hour every day on like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace trying to find good deals on like video games and stuff, and then he'd just buy it for cheap, and then he'd try to use Snapchat to sell it to somebody in our grade, and if that didn't work, eventually he would just sell it on like, there was this weird Discord server that basically acted like a Facebook Marketplace but allowed you to meet people from across the country instead of just people from your area, and that guy made some good money. I think he had a month where I think he made over $700 just flipping stuff, which obviously isn't that much money. Like, you can't live off $700 a month, but when you're a sophomore in high high school. That money goes a long way. Anyways, tell me the kind of guys in high school that I missed, and maybe I'll do a part 2. I'll do types of girls in high school coming soon. We'll get that one going. But yeah, for now, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. I'm trying to get this one to blow up, like I mentioned in the last video. We're really trying to go viral on here. So if you want to help me out, please, it's all you have to do. Like and subscribe. And thank you guys. I'll see you all later. Goodbye. Goodbye.